Hello, welcome to my channel, The Sharpest Teeth. I'm Saturn. I do tarot and other stuff, but mostly on here, I'm doing tarot. I had the idea to do this reading for anyone who is going through a large transformation, either for the first time or going through a huge transmutation of themselves for what feels like the first time, but mainly for those of you who haven't really experienced such a big shift in your life up until now. And when I got this idea the last time I filmed, I pulled a couple cards from this Opal Oracle deck, and this deck is so positive, like it's almost like an affirmation deck. The cards I pulled were expectation and moving on. Expectation says believe in better outcomes. Life delivers us what we expect from it. Ask yourself, what is the best that could happen? Expect good things so life can rise up to meet you. It can be really scary to go through such big changes like the ones that you are going through. And a lesson that I have learned from my multiple tower-ruled life experiences is that when you don't know what you don't know, and it is good to keep some optimism and some hope. Hope is the core emotion that keeps me showing up in my day-to-day. And when everything is changing, whether it's for better or not, we don't know. And generally, I like to believe that there is something better always. There's always something better. There's always something to strive after, right? And that actually, there are better times ahead was the second one. Moving on was the second card that I pulled, and they're so intertwined, right? Believe in better outcomes, better times are ahead. Like there is a theme here of encouragement and assurance, reassurance, right? Moving on says, it may be time to detach from a situation that is no longer serving you. As one phase of your life is ending, another better phase is beginning. So that to me was just kind of like confirmation around doing this reading. I decided to use the Smith-Waite deck, and when I pulled it out of its little box, like a few of the cards, a good few, like a handful of the cards were sitting upside down. And that to me indicates like feeling a little bit topsy-turvy, or like those of you who may be feeling overwhelmed by all of this or confused, to me it indicates that like it's not actually as confusing. You're not as turned around as you think you are, right? It was just a few of the cards. It was a small handful of the cards that were facing a different direction than the majority of them, and they weren't all jumbled, right? So you may feel incredibly jumbled, but you're right where you need to be. Okay. And it was the Magician on the top too, which is indicative of like creating our own reality and using the tools that are available to us, and knowing what we have mastered, right? And the thing that was coming up in the last reading that I did was about letting go of the things that we think we know, or more so like reinventing methodologies to get results in a different way, even if what you were doing before was working, right? So what do we need to hear as people venturing into a completely new timeline for themselves for the first time, experiencing this transformation? And how can we support them on this journey? How can they support themselves? What do they need to know during this time? Okay, we have the Hangman in reverse right here. So there is a resistance to surrendering. And one of the hardest things to do when you're going through a time like this, and one of the most important things to be able to do, is to surrender to the process. And I'm kind of getting that, like, I hear that all the time, like, what does that even mean? And for me, it means keeping an open mind, staying curious, looking at things in a new perspective, asking other people what they think, continuing on, even though it feels super not great. I'm trying not to cuss so much. So I was gonna say ishy, but when things are feeling like incredibly bleak, when you're not sure what the next step is, but you take it anyway. Okay. We have Ace of Cups in reverse. So yeah, a lot of you are experiencing fear. And maybe some of you are really skeptical of this offer of a new way of being, of transformation. And the thing about like the Tower over here is that it's gonna happen no matter what. So you don't have to take every opportunity that is given to you to investigate your emotions, your emotional landscape. You don't have to take every opportunity to sit with yourself, but it does make it a little easier. So I'm seeing a lot of distractions here, a lot of like, I don't want to sit with this. It's like too freaky. Like some of you are very freaked out with the Hangman and the Ace of Cups in reverse for sure. Like you are just holding on because you're afraid of what happens when you let go. And it's gonna happen. The thing about this part of your life right now is that it's going to happen no matter what. And what you're doing by holding on is just delaying the inevitable. And making it harder for yourself, to be honest. And that being said, kind of similarly to what I said in the last reading, that is also an important part of the process. So I'm not saying that to make you feel dismayed in any type of way, but I am saying it because it's a universal experience. Like we all do this. And the more you learn to let go and go with the flow of things, right? The easier it becomes and the more opportunities come to you faster. And we don't actually know what it feels like to let go unless we've held on. So this could be a huge learning experience for you, for your future self, and or this could be important. This could be an important part of your work to pass on to others. And we have the King of Pentacles in reverse. A lot of reversals coming up. A lot of reversals. But we're freaking out about finances. We're not feeling in our body. There's a lot of dissociation happening. That's okay. If you need to dissociate, that's okay. I would just like to remind you to breathe and that you're safe, right? I'm getting a lot of this, like, nobody understands what I'm going through. Maybe that's true, but I'm sure that there are a plethora of people who have been through similar things and can relate to your experience on a whatever, maybe superficial level, but I'm getting the sense that you feel alone in this. I don't think that is the truth. I don't think that is what's actually happening. What's happening is because you're disconnecting from yourself, you're also disconnecting from the help that is being offered you. This is why it's important to keep an open mind and stay curious. Page of Cups in reverse. We got this Page of Cups in the last reading for burnout. And that was, in that reading, it was indicating like new methodologies of downloads. But this one, I'm getting just this, there's so much resistance here. There's so much resistance here. And there is a message that is trying to come through to you. There is like an inner part of you, your intuition or your higher self or your guides, something. There is something coming through for you internally, through your intuition or through your dreams that you are ignoring, that you are refusing to acknowledge, that you are scared of, that you don't like, maybe. I would highly suggest journaling through this process. It will help you get through it a little bit easier. I don't think it's going to feel that way in the moment, but in the future, when you look back on your journals from this time period, there's going to be like like there's going to be a connection for you. Okay, so I definitely think that journaling through this time period is going to be helpful. It also helps when you are writing down the same stuff over and over again. You're externalizing it, for one, so it's not just rattling around in there like a pinball machine. But also you see yourself more clearly. You see the opportunities for growth. And you also, it's like a lot easier to get tired of your own bullshit faster. And you will find that you write down solutions that you didn't even realize were there. And that will be an ongoing process. You will be doing that multiple times. Like, you'll have that realization over and over again and be like, oh, I wrote it down right here 3 months ago. Why didn't I realize that? Like, why didn't I implement this before? But it will help you to implement it, right? And we have the Magician in reverse. A lot of reversals. A lot of you are feeling way out of your element. And I also wanted to say I did light a candle to support you through this right now, for a little bit of ease. Meditation could be helpful for some of you. Going outside, touching grass. I'm always suggesting that. The Magician in reverse, to me, speaks back on the control aspect of the not wanting to let go, like reflecting the Hanged Man, where the magician is trying to manipulate the outcomes to be in their favor. And this is not what's going to be helpful necessarily. I think it could be a good practice. It could be a good practice for you to try scripting, to try manifesting. It could be a good time for you. It could be a very potent time for you, even. And you will learn a lot. And you will be making mistakes, and those are important mistakes to be making right now. There's a lot of this coming through. So, yeah, I think that a huge message here is just that, like, you can't really make any mistakes because the mistakes that you make are a part of the process that you are meant to be in, that you are meant to be a part of currently, right? That for me is what's coming through in a huge way. Man, the only upright card, I'm so sorry. This is fine. I'm fine. Everything is fine. Everything is fine. The Ten of Swords is like, dude, you're done. You're done. Whatever this is, like, as long as you're not trying to keep things the same, you're going to be fine. Because this thing that you may or may not want to stay the same, it's over. It's done. It's not happening anymore. That whole part of your identity, whether it's some external or internal thing that you identify with, is over. We're done with that, right? It's like we're writing a new story now. So keep that in mind, because again, with the like message of the letting go, going with the flow, trusting the process, right? All of that is to say that things are changing. Things are changing. They're going to change, and there's nothing you can do about it. Okay? That's, thank God. Thank the gods that there is nothing that I can do about things changing. Okay? Because we need things to change. Otherwise, it's just stagnant. It's just stagnant water. And you know what stagnant water does? It gets you sick. Okay? And you know what stagnant earth does? It doesn't grow anything. Okay? It's dead. It does not create life. It creates sickness and illness and famine. Okay? So thank gosh and all the goshes that things are changing for you and for me and for everybody watching this, right? That is what I mean by the surrender. Because no matter what you do in this situation, the surrender is inevitable. The change is inevitable. So whatever it is you do, you will learn. It will be helpful for you. In order to make it a little bit easier, you can learn to be with your emotions one step at a time. You can learn to be in your body, even if you are doing spiritual practices such as astral projection or visualization. You can learn to ground back in your body. You can learn to tend to your roots. You can learn to listen to your intuition. And you can learn to master your practices. And you can learn to let go as well. The thing is, right, the mistakes are a part of the learning. Sometimes you don't know what your intuition is until you ignore it and do a different thing entirely. That's how I learned a huge portion of how to listen to my intuition, is to hear it and then be like, oh no, I'm just going to decide to do this other thing, and then see, oh, even if it's as simple as like, I should turn left here instead of turning right. And then I'm like, oh, but I always turn right. I'm going to turn right this time. And then boom, there's like road work or construction or something happens. And it's like, oh, okay, right. I didn't know what I didn't know. And I didn't know that my intuition was pointing me toward something else in order to save me from this headache or this delay, right? We don't always see the things that our intuition is guiding us toward or away from. We don't always see the benefit because we don't know what we don't know, right? So that is also part of what makes following your intuition difficult. And judgment. You're laying it to rest. This is like, I would say this is positive. I would say, and also I would add, because this is something that will help you cope with the process and feel a little bit more control. Going through some of your physical possessions, some of your clothing or your books, or going through old paperwork that you may or may not need anymore. Just clearing out some of your stuff and getting rid of some of it. Are there old things that you have been holding on to that remind you of a not so pleasant time in your life? Maybe it's time to let those things go. Is there something that you have been keeping because you feel like maybe in the future you might use it or fix it even though it's broken, but you've had it for over 5 years? You can let that go. That's okay. I give you permission. And you can be mad at me if I tell you to let something go and you donate it and then a year later you're like, frick, where did that thing go? I give you full permission to use me as a scapegoat. That's fine. But it's gonna be okay. Alright. The other thing that you can do is just clean your space. Like, other than like going through your physical items, your possessions, and getting rid of some of the things you no longer need or that are no longer serving you, you can just clean your house. And you can do a salt scrub. I just did a salt scrub. It was great. Highly suggest it. It's exfoliating. My skin always thanks me. The Judgment card is about old things coming to the surface. And it's like a retribution process. My throat is getting dry and I'm almost out of water. The Judgment card is reminding me of Mercury retrograde. While I'm filming this, we are entering into a Mercury retrograde, and that covers the rules of Rees, but also it's like things that we were neglecting are coming to the surface for us to handle, for us to deal with, right? We're revisiting things, we're reflecting on things, okay? We're revising things. It's an editing process. So while you're in this state of transformation, it's a good time to go through that editing process and see what is serving you. Even if it's not physical items, right? Like your behaviors, your habits, and what is not serving you. I'm gonna go because I need some water. I hope you found this very helpful. Please give this video a like and subscribe to my channel and share this video with someone who could use it. Thanks.